Oh, is that working now? Hey, oh dear, okay. All right, let's try that again. We have sound. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we are going to be working in the Ohuhu marker pad. We are going to be working 4 different patterns from the Coco How to Draw Patterns. And we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to get started and hopefully you can all hear me now. Welcome in. I'm Becky and I do a Sunday live stream coloring at the moment, working through either this book or this book and just having a little bit of a play. I'm going to add some additional context to definitely the instructions in this book because I was having a little flick through of the ones that I've picked out today, and I think we can add a little bit more context to this. I appreciate that the author has to kind of condense these into just 4 steps, but I don't know if that is particularly the best strategy for a beginner. So let's see if I can help out, and you can play along. Okay, so step 1, we're going to do this little fishy pattern. Looks very cute, looked like a nice one to get started. And I've matched up my colors using my color chart. I've made this one myself with the full set of all the pens, and I arranged them in color family order. So for this particular color blend, I went for this row here, and I started from, I leapfrogged to get a nice big range within just 5 pens. So let's see if that helps us out. So I'm going to start here with a B030. These are the original color names, but you can also find on my Ko-fi store, link down below, is a version with the new color names. So if you have the new color names, I've got you there as well. So it's the same color family order using the new names. Let's get started. I'm using the chisel nib here to cover the whole area up. I do have my little page protector behind. I don't love it for heavy blending, so if there's going to be heavy saturation, I like to have a piece of paper behind so that it can actually absorb the ink instead of just having it sit on there so that it kind of pushes back up if you're not careful. But for not too wet, not too saturated applications, it's fine. There we go. Okay, so that's our first layer. Step 2, it says draw wavy lines, and again they're not really telling us which color that is, so I'm gonna just pick like the third one in. We do need to let that dry, so I am going to use my heat tool. And a way that you can tell if it's dry or not is if it feels kind of cool on the back side usually. So I think we're good there. Let me tell you what pens I've picked out for this whole pattern that we're doing today. So it was the B030, B070, B090, B64 and B290. I'm going to jump up to the B090 and add my wavy lines. And this is on the brush nib, using it right on the little tippy toe. There we go, like so. Draw colorful random fish. Now what they're not saying here is keep hold of the darker pen so that we can add the little fins on top of them afterwards. So that would be using these 3 colors. So the B070, the B090 and the B64. And they're all swimming in the same direction. And our little fish looks something like this. Okay, I think I can do better than that. I made a really squished body there. Let's try and plump him up a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's not too bad. All right, so fishy shape. Probably a bit more of a pointy face there. All right, there's a little fishy face. And let's do another one kind of off here with his little tail. Couple here. Coming off from the edge as well. There we go. That's one set. And as always, it's Sunday here now if you're watching this live, and I'm hoping you're having a lovely weekend. Lovely, colourful weekend. And I think when I'm done today, I'm kind of in the mood to make some Christmas cards. I don't really do much for Christmas myself, but I had that grabby Christmas box, and since there's going to be a need to give some cards out, I figured it would be a nice time to make some new ones for other people. Lots of little fishies. Okay, all right, so we want some space in between for the bubbles at the end, but now I'm going to jump to the B290. Now they each have a little eye, so we'll do the little eye. And then they either have a gill or a fin. So to do the little fin is how I would do like a little heart shape, using a brush, which would go something like this. You use the pointed end, line it up twice, and you can get a cute little kiss there. So I'll show you again. I'll see if I can do that up close. So laying down the point, doesn't really work here. Pushing down that tip like that. Okay, so let's do a few of those. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop. And then the other ones will do little semicircles for the gills. Okay, that's our little fishies. So now we need to do the bubbles. And I am going to use my Posca pen for this one. So I can see that we've got a white line underneath the waves. This is my really nice and fine PC1MR. Like so. Like so. And then we have circles. So we fill in the bigger spaces first. And different size circles. Going over the edge. And then dots. And you can have slightly bigger ones if you do circle-y dots. Okay, there we go. First one done. Let's zoom in. Boob. There we go. Fish pattern. Cute. Didn't take too long. Nice and speedy to get that one out. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Let's see if I can be organized and put these pens away. So we're going to do this cracked earth one next. And it looks like we're going to use 4 earthy browns, but the dark one is actually an acrylic paint. Well, actually it looks like the 2 darker ones are. So the 2 lighter ones, but then I don't think I have 2 different dark browns. So let me check what I have in the acrylic paint. Just file these pens away. Okay, so I have one of these and one of these. I think that's about it in a small nib. So let's have a look at what we have here. So I have a Posca, but it's got kind of a big nib for this, but we'll see. That's looking pretty dark. And then the Ohuhu acrylic marker. I haven't used the fine nib, but let's give it a shake first. Ah, okay. This is probably going to work for us then. All right, so I have two different browns here. I've got my darkest brown is going to be the Posca. So I'll save that one for the cracks. This one I will use for, well, these are going to be the, or are they calling it the tree roots? Okay, so this one will be for the tree roots. This one, oh look, I forgot to do my swatches. Whoops. Never mind. This one will be for the cracks on the actual flooring. So maybe I should get those in now. And that means I just need 2 lighter browns here in Ohuhu. And this is looking like, so if you were to do it all with alcohol markers, I do have a pretty much a perfect matching color family here. So if you didn't have alcohol pens, if you didn't have acrylic pens, you could just do that. But let me grab the Y110 and the Y145. Okay. Oh, and I'm going to close the window. Okay, so this says draw the cracks first, but I don't really want to draw them twice because I could draw them with pencil, and I would use my Col-Erase pencil because of the lower waxiness and not wanting to mess my nibs up too much. But since I'm going to draw the cracks anyway, I'm pretty sure we can draw cracks quite bravely and not worry too much about it, because it's just an organic shape. And who's going to know? Who's going to know if I'm getting my cracks wrong? All right, I'm going to start with the Y110 and go straight in with coloring this. All right, now if you saw that little stain there, that's because I probably picked up a bit of color from the washi tape. So just be careful of that, but it'll kind of disappear. Okay, all right, there we go. There's our base. Then we said it's going to be our Ohuhu to do the cracks. So different sizes. Not really joining up too well, just let them do whatever basically. They can go off in all sorts of different angles, you can have different sizes. Okay. Something like that. All right. Then we need to darken these cracks around like the lower half, the lower side, and more of the right. So we're going to give it a bit of dimension. I've got my Y145 here. So like that. So we're just going a little bit up the side and all over the lower lines. Okay, I think we got them all. And then we're going to add our dots and tree roots. So let's find one that's got a nice big bit here. And we're just going to do like that. And just a few of them. Let's have another one coming out of here. And one more here. Just like lightning shapes. Now, random dots are tricky because humans don't do random. But something like this. And I wonder if we should add, with this one, some extra dots as well. There we go. Okay, there is our cracked ground. Very cute. All right. So these are super fast and super easy. But these next two ones are a little bit more challenging, so that's fine. We're going to try this one now, the blooming stones. So there's going to be a bit more acrylic pens for the details on top. Looks like white and two lighter greens. So what would be helpful is if they indicated which is the alcohol marker colors and which is the acrylic pen markers, so that we don't have to figure it all out first. But it definitely looks like these two browns are going to be alcohol, and then the darker green. So looking at what I have out already, I think this is a bit more yellow. So probably almost these two here. But I could also use this one. Yeah, I think maybe these two here. So I'm going to do Y210 and Y140. Yep. Y210 and Y140. Okay. And then a dark green, which is darker than my acrylic pens. And I do have these two from Ohuhu. Yep, they will do. So I just need to go darker than that. Oh, this one's kind of a bluey one, but it's fine. Let me just check the neon green and see if it's actually neon. Yeah, that's a bit too vibrant. So we'll go with those. or I could bring in my Posca. Yeah, that might work better. Okay, we'll have one Posca and one Ohuhu. Showing that there really is a need to just buy everything, unfortunately, because it all plays together. And if you don't have the perfect colour in one thing, chances are you might have it in another. Okay, so a dark green then to go with those. Let's try. Maybe we go really dark with the G7. Yeah, let's do that. Let's take the G7. I'll pop these two back. Okay. Stones. Let's do some stones. Alright, so step one here would be drawing out the pebbles, but again, I'm fine not doing that because I don't care. I'm going to just see what the pen gives me and use that. But obviously if you do have, if you don't want to see how that lays out, or maybe if you're doing them off in the distance, so it's not, you're not doing a bird's eye view of a ground, if you're doing it on a plane and your pebbles need to get smaller as they get further away, then I probably would sketch those out and make that a little bit more dimensional and check my proportions first. So let's just go straight in though. So I'm going with the Y140 to color in my pebbles. We'll have one like that. That one went a little large, but never mind. There are no pebble police. And so they kind of fit up to each other, but not, you know, not so perfectly. Go, just colouring them all in. They are very cute designs in this book. So if you are into that whole cutesy colouring, then I do recommend this book for you to get your colouring up to the next level with some interesting patterns. And I do like, I was looking earlier at the back of this book where they have like a whole kind of primer of different ideas. So once you've kind of gone through the ones in the book and you've kind of gone through how to approach these types of things, then you can just get all these extra bonus ones at the back for inspiration as well. I would like to start doing some more little forest and magical looking, you know, fairy looking scenes. I think that's where I want to go with these once I am getting done with the process of, you know, filling my book up a bit with some ideas. Then I'm going to start to play with some scenes. So I will eventually move on from this. Okay, so we're going to now do the bases of our stones. It says color the base for soil and add shading. So yeah, I'm using my Y210 here, and again it's pretty much, well, I'm not sure about that one, but yeah, we're pretty much doing 2 or sometimes 3 sides there, but let's see if we just do 2. And I'm just going to go around like so. Oh, I also treated myself to the Meaden Advent Calendar this year, which is an art calendar from Meaden, and I'm not gonna do the normal YouTube thing of opening everything in one big video, because respectfully, I got that for me, but I will do like a short of each day when we get to December. And then I was also thinking I could probably do it as my advent calendar leading up to my birthday, because my birthday is the 24th of November, but then I've already missed, I've already missed some of the days there. So I am going to keep it for December, but I might have more fun for people who got the calendar, showing how, how to do the projects or something like that. So that could be fun. Right. Now we're going to do our grassy bit. So I've got my G7 here. It's nice and dark. And this looks like it's all a bunch of scumbly circles here. So we're going to do scumbly circles. Just try and get those grassy bumps interfering with the edge of our pebbles. And because this is a textured thing, a textured section we're doing, you don't need to worry about any even or smooth blending. You just want to scribble. So those will be my festive things for this year that I share with you content wise. I'm going to do my advent calendar opening, and maybe on the weekend do some things with it, with the contents, and then I'm also going to be making some Christmas cards with the grabby box. Ta-da! We have a scribbly mess. Yes. Okay. So now we're going to go into acrylic pen time. And it looks like it's just going to be dots, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually try the bigger nib here. I also forgot my little dots on my stones, so I'll pick those up in a moment. Okay, and then I think I have a bigger one of these. Let me check. Yeah, let's go with this one. It's the same color but bigger. So that's what's nice about the Ohuhu, this particular Ohuhu acrylic pen, is that they are double-sided, so you do get the two different nib sizes for one. I feel like mine are a little too even, but... And I'm also thinking I might bring in another green as well. Let's see if I have a more yellowy green. Yeah, I do have a light green. Stippling or pointillism. You can go over the edge a little bit as well. Okay, well, that'll do. Okay, went a little crazy with the dots there, but I think that looks kind of cute. Right, I've got to add my little brown dots in that I forgot earlier. What's nice with the brush nib is you can get different sizes depending how much you push down. Okay, and then with the white, oh, that's cheeky. They've actually got a little bit of a yellow dot in the center of those, and they did not declare that on the anything to declare line here. So we'll bring that in though. Little 4 petaled, like daisies, I guess, or I don't know, what would have 4 petals and is white? Oh, they're very sweet though. And I think because of how dark the underneath is, I'm probably going to need to do 2 layers of the white. And try not to balance them out too evenly. Off the page. Alright, if you find that your pen, your Posca particularly, which is known to be fairly opaque, if it is going a little translucent or you don't think it is as opaque as it could be, shake it up a bit more. Okay, and I think I'm gonna give that a little heat before I do my second layer. Alright, let's try that again. And then this next one that we're doing, I'm looking forward to. The next one, this last one, is going to be the honeycomb pattern. And I love doing honeycomb. And I'm going to show you where to find a really good tutorial for, well, I'm going to show you how I did it with pencil once from another book. Okay, that's looking a little bit more opaque, but it's not super opaque. And let me go and grab something else. So when your paint markers are failing you with the opacity, Copic Opaque White. This little guy I should have started with, but always get your drips off. Yeah, you can probably see the difference on that already. But the acrylic pen helped get me a nice outline, so, you know, using all the tools. Yeah, this stuff is great. It is just a little bit messy. You just have to be particularly careful with it. But if you can handle being careful with it, you will love it for your marker colorings. Alright, that's about as opaque as it's going to be. But I do need a little bit of yellow. So I'll dry those off. And then do my little yellow dots. Oh, it is so cute. Come on. Okay, so there we go. Let's add that. Oh, I wonder if this one's running out. It might be my next most popular color that I use. Right, let's take a moment to get focused. There's a little grassy flowery pebbles. Very cute. Okay, last one now. Honeycomb. This is the one that I noticed a discrepancy between what they're telling us to do and what I think we should do. Because this is telling us to do just a gradient, like a whole full box gradient, but that doesn't match with literally the next step. So watch this one. If you have the book, watch this one. And don't fall for that trap. Let's see what we can do with it. It looks like we're going to use the yellow acrylic pen and a white acrylic pen. So that will take care of these two colors. And then we're going to use 3 alcohol markers there. So I think actually this Y140 will do for this one. And then I need 2 oranges, one that gets a bit more red. Probably the Y10 and the R070. It's kind of a honeyish, or maybe that's a bit too red. Okay, I could go for the YR190 to play it a little bit more safe, a little less red. So YR190 and Y10. Let me find those. Okay, so for our honeycomb shapes, they're doing this kind of shape. I'm going to cheat and do it differently. I'm going to use this tool here which has hexagons on it, and I'm just going to make mine hexagonal, and I'm going to go for a nice large hexagon here, try and line it up to the edge, and I'm going to move it along. Okay, and I'm leaving like just the tiniest little gap. I'm lining up the points on my line here, but I'm leaving just a little gap. Oh, we're going to fit lots in. And it doesn't matter if they go a bit wonky, because I don't think they use measurement devices in bee colonies, but you never know. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be too upset about that. There we go. Alright, so that's my hexagons. So how am I going to do this different? I am going to do this different by and I've got about 10 minutes to do it if I can. Yeah, I'm going to use those 3 colours to keep the darkest side down here and just do a gradient on each of those. So it's going to be this colour, or this colour, and this colour. And even the shading, if you look, they really did do you dirty on that one, because that is not going to get you to this, where they have the additional shading there. The only other way I can think, no, because then you've still got the highlight there. No, sorry, not for this one. Right, okay, I'm going to do the whole thing in the Y140. Okay, let's just get the whole thing filled in. Okay, there, right. Now we're going to go dark to light with like a rounded kind of shape. And I'm going to do this on each of these. And then smooth it back out with this one. Okay, let's see if I can speed run this. So we're going here. Then we're going here. And then we're going here. And then also they're taking just a little bit of the dark around the outside of those edges. So again, that, yeah. Okay, so we're going to do that for each of these rows. And then also as it moves across, we're getting less of the darker color each time. So the end one is really cute. It's just not been, they haven't given you the instructions for what they did for some reason. And I'm trying not to color over all of that, just so that I can have an extra shade in there, so an extra light value. Okay, nearly there. So we're about at time, but I am going to finish this one because this would be a ridiculous place to end. Okay. Doodly dee, dee dee dee, dee dee dee. Okay. So now imagine doing that over a whole colouring page. That would be so cute. And even if your background doesn't have a honeycomb in it, you can add this. This is one of those really nice ones that you can just add to a piece. Right, so we're going to do a bit of yellow in these gaps, but how about instead of just doing it solid, we kind of do it as a broken line. Now I'm kind of convinced that this pen might be running out. So that's helping me with a broken line, I guess. Do I have another yellow? I have a bigger yellow. Okay, and then we can put some little dots. And for the white, we want to get a nice big shine. So let's go up to this one. Oh, I've never used this one. Here we go. Okay, all right. So, swoosh. Okay, don't forget to wait for the tape reveal at the end so we can see all of that. Can't use the small white pen. Okay, and more dots. Little ones and big ones. Okay. Let's call that done. Let's almost call it done. I want more yellow. Okay, right, and now I'm going to do the tape. I promise, I promise. Okay, let's take the tape off. Which one's on top? Is it this one? No! Okay, is it this one? Ooh. Look at that. Ah, smooth. That is looking sharp. Voila! Okay, so once again, referring to my color chart, which you can download for free or pay what you would like if you'd like to donate for the time to make that, and the Coco Wire how to draw patterns. It's all about having fun. Yeah, okay, and my Ohuhu sketchbook or marker sketchbook. Not too much bleed through today. Okay, maybe a bit on the honeycomb because we went a little excited on that one. So 3 different patterns today, and I wanted to show you, if you like honeycomb as much as I do, this is my Grains of Gold. There it is. Hannah Carlson book. This is in pencil. I think this is mostly luminance, and I did 3 techniques from Helen Elliston's colorist special effects pencil books. She has a pencil honeycomb instructions and the jewels, and I think I used a little bit of help from like a bug or a wasp or something in there as well. So yeah, you can do, you can rely on these books. So find your coloring technique books that you enjoy, that are gonna take your coloring to the next level. Okay, all right, well, I hope you had fun. I hope you have a beautiful weekend and a lovely week next week, and hopefully I will see you next Sunday for some more coloring. Take it easy. Goodbye.